Seriously, guys, go check out Rabin from Only the Best Fantasy Novels because he just reads the most interesting stuff that I never hear anybody else talk about, and that's where I got this one. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about The Lies of the Ajungo by Moses Ose Utomi. And this is one that I had been curious to get to for a bit. And then, especially after I did, I was doing my ABC authors, realized I had not read any authors, the last name starting with U. And then I realized I had this on my TBR from Rabin, who had recommended it. And then I realized my library had it. Now, I will say, immediately, the one issue I have with this is I'm really glad my library had it because it's actually cheaper to buy this hardcover on Amazon than to get the ebook of this book, which is insane to me. So I didn't want to spend that much on an ebook, but I try not to buy physical books as much if I haven't read them yet, and I don't know if I'm gonna like them. So that was kind of interesting. I feel like when you get the novellas like this, sometimes it's a little bit prohibitive because pricing can make it interesting. But this was a really good one and a really interesting one, and we're gonna talk some more about it. So this is starting in a place called the City of Lies, and with our character Tutu, who is a young boy. And in the City of Lies, once you reach a certain age, you have your tongue cut out, and that's just kind of where you go on. And the only other option is, before this, sometimes children will be sent off to try to find water being the reason that this whole arrangement exists. The Ajungo essentially came and offered to trade water, but what they wanted in return was the tongues of every person once they turned 12 years old. And so that's kind of gruesome, but that's kind of what's set up there. And you have that base set up, and Tutu wants to be somebody who goes out and finds water, but just is afraid that it won't work. And everybody here is instilled that just there are no heroes in the City of Lies, and once you leave too, there are no friends outside of it. There's nothing good will happen. But then he feels his hand is kind of forced when his mother is dying of dehydration related conditions, and so he goes out to try to find something, and he starts to find out more about the world and see that maybe things aren't exactly as he thought, and there's definitely more that's going on. This is written sort of like a fable or parable, in a way, and it has that kind of feel. Those are something that I feel like do not always work for me, but I think it's handled really well here. Although, by nature of it being a novella and kind of following the fable route, you do have a few things that just feel like a little bit quick, that happen, that could have been, definitely more time could have been spent on, as well as some things that don't like 100% make sense outside of the confines of the story, with just some of the things that are around with the resolution. But ultimately, I found it really interesting seeing this character, and then we have some other people that are introduced as we go along. But it really, despite the fact that this is not super like character focused, it's more as kind of that idea focused here. But the character voices I found to be interesting and unique, and the world building that was put in here, and this is West African inspired, as what it says here. The world building and the sorts of magic and just the setting I found to be very interesting. It's definitely something I think you could have spent more time on. And it was funny because I really liked this, and I was looking at reviews after I read it, and the biggest complaint seemed to be that it felt like he was trying to write an epic fantasy novel, but then reduce it to a novella. And I think, honestly, the fact that so many people had that complaints really shows you, though, how much is there. There is a lot packed into this tiny thing, and you easily could write a full-length novel and really dig more into it. But I also think that in some ways, the story that was being told here, I think there's more in this world, or after, anyway. I believe there's something else that comes here that's related, at least, which I'll have to look at. But I think doing it in this format works really well, because while there's more that you could have explored, you'd have to change the way a lot of things worked, and you also, some of the things that are uh meant to be apparent, and maybe you can figure it out from the base, but I don't want to spoil anything because it's hard to talk any details in something so short without spoiling. But if you were trying to do this full length, you'd probably have to try and set more things up to be like unknown or have twists. And this kind of lays all the cards on the table and is like, hey, this is what we're doing. And I think it works really well in this format. And so while I do think there's a lot this could be expanded upon, and which again why I'm curious to see what else this author is going to be doing in this world. But I think it's really effective, and just the thematically what it's looking at in that sort of fable setting as well, and just those ideas. It has some stuff that obviously is like, yeah, we're looking at this, but it has some other pieces to it as well that go in interesting directions, and so it's, I think, very effective of what it is, and especially for something that was very quick reading, it was very engaging, and like I said, I felt the character voices and the setting, and even the bits of the way the magic and stuff was talked about, because there is some magic in here, although it's kind of different, and just everything we're doing, I found really engaging, and it's the author I feel like uses the very short space here to really great effect, and so it's while like I said there is more to it. I think this works really well, and I don't think it necessarily needs to be longer. But it's I'm usually the guy complaining about books being longer too. So this time though, I'm like, you know what, I think it works. So uh, ultimately, kind of where I landed. So if you're looking for something that very short, and also has a interesting characters, interesting setting, and something a little bit different, because this is definitely fantasy, but like I said, is West African inspired, and also doing more of a fable sort of telling like that, and so it's a little bit different from the average thing. But if you're looking for something different, unique, and very engaging read, I definitely do recommend this one. I really enjoyed it and was glad that my library had it, so I could snag this copy easily to read. Now I probably will have to go out and get a physical copy though, and I'm really curious to read more from this author. And now I have read an author with the last name starting with U, so that's just an added bonus here. Like I said too, though, originally I heard about this one from Rabin. I will link his video about it where he talks a lot more about it as well. And again, check out his channel. He reads so many interesting things, and not everything that he loves I love, but I've picked up several books just because he's talked about them and gotten me so interested in them, and just several things I've heard about very little or nowhere else there. So yeah, highly recommend his channel as well. That's it for this one though. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the links in the description as always for the Patreon if you want to support what I do, as well as the Wizard of the Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books with you, anything at all. It's a lot of fun and we'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.